So I would love to talk about what any of you want to talk about. I have a subject that I am prepared to teach to you all that is not particularly exciting in any way, but is truly important and something that nobody talks to any of you about. So I'm prepared to do that if you want. But I'm open to have us having conversations about whatever we're struggling with or whatever's going awesome or not awesome. Anybody want to speak up? That's awesome. I could continue on with my dialogues about Broadway shows because Hamilton was probably the best musical that I've ever been to.
Good.
It was
so good.
That is my new vote. But
Rent, mine's always going to be Rent. But I am curious, Ben, can I just jump in? Like, I'm genuinely curious, is everybody pacing for goal? Ahead, behind, on pace?
We're a little bit behind as a team. So that was going to be my question, is how do we get these guys into production faster and finding talent?
Kristen, Raider, how are you guys doing? Are you pacing ahead, behind?
Great question. I was just looking at my spreadsheet yesterday. First quarter, phenomenal. May, fantastic. June looks like shit, pardon my French. But yeah, so then I came in the office today, a little more motivated, but overall on track. So just got to get back in the game, I guess, do a little more whatever it is I do. So the girls that know me know that I don't really do anything. So I got to do something.
Hills, what about you guys? You guys are ahead, right?
We're tracking pretty close, which is the first time that's ever happened.
Sarita.
Is that a good thing?
We've never even been close.
Like you're always over or under?
No, I mean, I could tell you almost every March or April of every year, there's no way we can hit our goal.
Oh.
And this is the first year that we're tracking.
Zach, I've had a couple of years where the bulk of my production came in the fourth quarter or third quarter, and I've had a couple of years where it came in the second or third. And the years that it came in the second or third, I was overly optimistic that the rest of the year was going to be great. And the years that came in the third and fourth, I was super pessimistic that the world was going to end. And I think there's positives and negatives to both of those equations. Sometimes we have a phenomenal spring, and then we use up all the clients that we're going to buy in the summer and fall, and it actually ends up being slow. So we got to keep that in our mind when we're having good times. Mm-hmm.
And are you all speaking exactly to units, not volume?
No, I think that's an answer for you, Karina.
Well, I love volume, but I know Chris Suarez drives him crazy because he wants me to focus on units.
I only care about profit and GCI because I can't buy cheeseburgers with volume or units. So that's how I would argue with Chris. But Chris doesn't eat cheeseburgers or really anything that isn't kale, so it doesn't really matter.
True.
Yeah. And now he has a farm, so he just grows it. So it's really totally irrelevant to him. Okay, I got two things for us today, and we're going to have a talk about it. But it's going to go back to Molly's comment that she said. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get a piece of paper out, and we're going to do a little fun exercise. And if you have just like a blank paper, that works really good, or like a just 8 by 11 if you have it. And then if you have a Sharpie, Zach, that's always my jam. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to draw this shape. It's like a backwards S or a Z, but you're starting at the top of the paper and going to the right, and then you go down, and then you go left, and then you go down, and then you end, at the bottom right corner. Okay. So anybody draw that? You can show me your picture, and we'll see how we're doing. See, thank you. I love it when people participate. Molly, I'm watching you. Okay, cool. We're going to do this exercise real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But there's a point to this conversation. So at the very first, just write start. At the very top left, you're going to write start. We're basically creating a chutes and ladders game. Damn you, Via. We are creating a chutes and ladders game where we're going to go from the start. Now, just go 1 inch in and put a stop on. This is the bus or a train. We're taking the bus and we're going to stop right here. And underneath that, I want you to write activity. The first stop for any real estate business is, are we doing the activity or not? And we cannot progress through the chutes and ladders game unless we're actually doing the activity. So right below activity, I want you to write calls, emails, texts, etc. So we just made our first stop on the bus stop. Now your job as a leader is to ensure that your team is doing the very first stop on the bus. If they're not doing that, there's no amount of more leads or more hires or more marketing or more coaching or anything that's going to solve that problem. Now, I would use software to ensure that these things are being done so you can actually see their dials and see their text and see the emails and the activities, but that's up to you. If they're doing that, the next stop on the bus, just go like 2 or 3 inches forward and draw another stop on the bus here. And I want you to write call conversion. Call conversion. To be successful at step 2 on the bus, I want you to write down, you need to be able to build rapport. Arguably the worst spelled word in the English language. It's spelled report, which is dumb. I want you to write scripts. And I want you to write the ability to ask questions. If somebody is doing the activity, I called 1,000 people and they have no business. That's cool because we can fix the second thing. The second thing is, do they build rapport with anybody? Or is every phone call they make with one of your leads, Kristen, like an awkward first date where you're just kind of staring at each other and stumbling through words? Do they ask great questions? Do they even know what questions to ask? Do they have great scripts to close or to ask for the appointment? It's the call conversion. We need to put a lot more emphasis in helping our agents, our employees, in the first 2 steps of the bus. If they're successful at those 2 things, they should be getting what? Everybody, somebody tell me. Hello? Appointments. So go to the middle of the first S curve and draw your next bus stop. And then right next to there, I want you to write the consult. This could be a buyer consult. It could be a seller consult. This could be a recruiting consult. And our ability to do a great consult is based on our ability to, write this down, present, build rapport in person, listen, and ask questions. If your agents are going into every listing presentation talking the entire time, they're not going to walk out with very many listings because we haven't taught them how to ask questions or to take notes. If they don't actually know how to listen, that's going to be a problem. Best way to listen is to take notes. And then can you make sure that every presentation is exactly the same? That's the only way that you can make process improvements is, you know, that every listing presentation is identical. Every buyer consult's identical. Every recruiting press, right? It has the same format. You have tweaks to it as you ask questions. Okay, so that's the 3rd step on the bus. Okay, now let's go like midway through the next straight stretch and do another bus stop. And I want you to write close. I have agents, team leaders, people that have more appointments than anybody you've ever met, but they have literally never done anything with them. The people probably would have bought or joined, but they never asked them because they have no ability to close. The secrets to closing is scripts. Do they know what to say? Number two, confidence. Are they confident in what we offer? Number three, have they clearly identified the needs of the prospect? And number four, have they got the word no a minimum of 4 times? Or do they give up after the first one? Are they going into every appointment and say, hey, let me know what you think. Reach out to me if you have any other questions. Or are they saying sign on the line, which is dotted right here? Press hard. Here's the X. Here's the pen. Here you go. Sign here. We're ready to roll. Agents don't come out of the womb, so to speak, knowing how to close. We've had 5 years, 10 years, 20 years of going in there and understanding how to ask somebody at an open house to commit to us, or to ask for a buyer consult, or in the consult to ask them very simply to sign our loyalty agreement. But it doesn't always translate to our people. We have to find ways to teach them that. So keep driving on our bus. This is what my sheet looks like so far. And then keep driving until you get to the next S curve. And I want you to write down the word service. Sometimes we get an agent to commit to joining our company or to joining our team, but they never do because there's some piece between their excitement and actually getting it done where they fall apart. Sometimes we get a buyer that says, that's awesome, we're super excited about buying a house. And there's some point between us doing that and them actually writing an offer that didn't happen. So they write an offer with somebody else, or they decide not to buy. Same thing with a listing. Hey, we're excited, we're ready to list, thanks. Let's just get a few of these things done, and something falls through the cracks. So you got to service that business. The next step, just go part way into the straight stretch, not all the way though, and write negotiate. Some of our agents allow deals to fall apart because they simply can't negotiate. They just write offers without calling the agent. They don't call and ask them, hey, what would it take? My people love the home. Just tell me a price. Right? They aren't asking questions. They aren't negotiating the right way. Keep going a little bit further and draw another line, but not to the finish yet. And then write down CTC. I call that clear to close. They might have done their entire job, but whoever else is on your team, your MCA or your admin or your TC or whoever, they didn't get it all the way to the closing line, so it falls apart. And then lastly, the very last stop, how you're going to know that you did a truly great job is that you will have gotten referrals or repeat business. Now you can do all these things all the way to a paycheck. That's why the paycheck is not the last stop. And you could have a crappy business that makes no profit because every day you wake up having to find the new customer for your restaurant instead of having repeat customers come in. If you have a repeat business, you know that you've done a great job. So Molly, getting our agents to produce is about identifying where in this chutes and ladders game are they falling through the cracks. Where's our training? Where's our accountability? Where's our coaching? Where's our leadership failing? Where at this piece? Now, here's what I'm going to say. Also, when we're having a hard time finding talent, I want to see all of you now. I'm going to go back. I removed my spotlight. So now I'm going back to gallery. When we're having a hard time finding talent for our business, here's my guess is that most of you don't spend very much time doing it. I need talent. So you spend 1 minute every day for a year. And at the end of the year, I'm so frustrated. I can't find anybody. You spend 1 hour once a week for 17 months trying to find a good admin, a good buyer's agent. You never find anybody. Right? Be willing to figure out where your problem is. Are you just not doing the activity? Do you suck at the conversion when you talk to somebody? When you get them into an appointment, do they not understand the value that you offer or why they should work with you? Right? Can you not close them? They're interested, they're staring there, but they walk out the door and they join somebody else because somebody else can close and you can't. Are in the onboarding process, are we not keeping them excited? Right? And getting them ramped up so on day one, they can start getting into success. Right? You can draw one of these chutes and ladders games for every part of your business. listing management, pending management, recruiting, getting agents into production. You could even draw one of these for agent retention. Okay, now what I'd love to do, I'd love to hear some of your ahas from drawing this out. So please speak up. It's amazing. What I love is the participation.
I unmuted, but I want to give everybody else a chance too.
There's nobody else there. It's literally just you and me.
You and me, Ken.
Apparently.
This was just powerful to see this all. The two areas that were big for me was the service and how somebody's in that room with you and you feel like they're so sold on you and they've already signed. And then what's the next piece? And also that clear to close piece and knowing what the rest of your team's involvement is, getting them to their referral, getting them to love us so much they'll give us a referral, that other people are a part of that process and recognizing how all your work through all these roads can come to an end because the clear to close doesn't exist on the team.
Yeah, Sarah, if I was to make this a board game, I wouldn't call it chutes and ladders. I would call it holes in the bucket. Like imagine you go all the way down to the water hole, fill up this big heavy bucket because your house needs water and you're carrying all the bucket back and you get back to the house and all the water's gone. It's usually not just because of one hole, it's a combination of holes. Our job is to identify those holes, Matthew, fill them, right? Then see what the next hole is, fill it, see what the next hole is, fill it. And as you move through the process, you wake up and you're like, gosh, all the water's in the bucket. This shit is actually working. I'm a genius. And then what you're going to realize is there's a brand new hole in the bucket game that you got to go figure out because you have a bunch of agents. Now you got to figure out how to retain them. Now you got a bunch of business. You got to figure out how to service that. Hey, you got a whole bunch of money coming in. Now you got to figure out how to invest it. You could literally do this hole in a bucket game for any aspect of your life or business. It's just a process improvement plan, basically. Amy, did you have your hand up?
I did. This is really helpful to me because I had a team that really just knocks it out of the park in terms of activity. And I've been sitting puzzled. And now I can focus in on call conversion and specifically, is it rapport? Is it scripts? Is it their questions? And really they can self-identify.
Yeah.
We can team up together and figure out what's the issue.
It's a coaching matrix too. I mean, you could literally sit down with somebody and said, here's the process to a paycheck. Let's talk about where you're doing great. Let's give you a score 1 out of 10 for each one of these areas. Activities, what'd you do last week? Now, if I was to have to put a number on that, I have a number in my head, but if you were to say, hey, out of 10 is I'm the #1 real estate agent in the world, and 1 is I should go get a job at Best Buy, where do you think you actually land on the activity stage? Well, how do you feel about that? Right? You told me you had big goals. You want to own a home. You want to pay off your student loans. You want to do all these things, right? You want to be a great parent, but you're not doing that. You go to Best Buy, right? Okay, let's go to the second one. And then you can start identifying the problems and you can spend time on that.
Ben, my aha was, we spend a lot of time monitoring the activity, and we actually have put a big focus over the last couple of months on conversion. But remembering that it's not just getting to the appointment, it's how do we get them from the appointment to actually being a client. And I think I realize you have to address one at a time, because if the activities aren't being done, then that's obviously where you need to start. But it's just a good reminder that all of those pieces are super important, and you could be really great at the first 4. And if you suck at service, then you're never going to get any more business, and you have to just keep hustling. The way you build your business is through, if you build your business through referrals, you don't have to do so much hard work in the beginning. And all of it is a good reminder.
Yeah. And when you look at it in the inverse way, you're never going to get referrals if you don't get people to close. You're never going to get people to close if you don't service them correctly. You don't need to service anybody if you can't get them to commit. And if you can't, right, you don't need to get people to commit if you can't even get in front of them. And you're not going to get in front of them if you don't actually have the right conversations. You're never going to have enough conversations if you don't actually make the calls. You know what most teams in our company do is that I'm just going to buy more leads, and I'm going to give more leads to more people that don't do anything with them and see if I could solve that problem. And then they wake up with the same size business and even less profit, which is dumb. Or they say, you know what, screw it, it's not worth it. This team thing, it just doesn't work out. We should just get rid of that, and I'm just going to go back to producing myself. Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
My mind on this goes to how often are you reviewing this? Who is reviewing this? And what, obviously we're using a lot of different trackers and all of that, so we can see, who's making phone calls, how many phone calls and appointments, so kind of their conversion rate. But how often are you checking in?
Yeah. Molly, I never trained a lot of my agents. Like, I didn't formally sit down a lot and say, hey, let's do a mock presentation. I just said, whenever I'm doing anything that's useful, I'm going to have somebody that has time watch me. I never went on a listing appointment alone. I just had them sit there next to me, shut up, and didn't say anything when they watched. I didn't go on buyer consults. When I had brand new agents, I didn't go in showings alone. For nothing else, I could use the carpool lane, right? They were always with me. And as the business grew, Ben, I then started making sure my other agents never went on those things alone. Hey, take Zach with you. Zach's brand new, and Zach would love to watch you do a listing presentation, right? And you just force the business to train, and they wake up and they're like, oh, I actually understand this. I've seen it happen a few times.
Okay.
And for me, one of the biggest ahas was just the simplicity of the visual aid, and just having something to look at instead of just the regular list that we always make of, are we doing this, are we doing that? And so for me, the simplicity of your chutes and ladders or your holes in the bucket drawing actually is something that I think visually assists in enabling us to walk our teams through that. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Hey, welcome to the office.
Hey, thanks.
Anybody else? No, you guys are really hard. Terry, are you going to talk? Oh,
I was actually.
Hi, Terry.
Hey, how are you? Sorry, I didn't show my face when you asked me to, but just coming out of a meeting and into the car, and finally I pulled over so I could just sit and listen. The one thing when you were talking was the building of rapport and remembering to listen. And I was thinking that we have a new agent that we are training, and that's the one thing I haven't reminded him of. And I had done that with my previous buyer's agents that worked for me. And I think that was probably the best thing that I learned when I started, was to be more concerned with listening and taking notes than talking about myself. So I think it's probably something I need to remember to share with him.
And Terry, when your experience is you forget that that's important. And when they're brand new, they're so nervous. They're interviewing for a job and they can't help it. They can't allow the to do the work. Where I can just sit here and stare at you guys for minutes, and I don't care if you guys don't talk, and it doesn't force me to talk. I'm actually okay with that, right? So if you were to think about some of these charts, you could actually build a curriculum for new people that work in your business on things they had to read or things they had to listen to or classes they had to take, like how to win friends and influence people. A book called Influence by Robert D. Cialdini, one of the best books on persuasion and influence out there. The FBI's Guide to Reading Body Language, a book called Simply Said, You Can't Lie to Me. There's the Emotional Intelligence book by either 2.0 or there's one by HBR, Harvard Business Review. Like there's all these different books that you could force your people to go through so they wake up at the end of the year and they're actually better at these things. They've actually evolved to being real valuable assets in your world.
Hey, Ben, I think I was just going to say, I think what's really nice about this chart is besides looking for the holes, it really breaks it down simply to also give praise and compliment in the areas that they are doing acutely well at, and then just, start from there and then shift and go, hey, you are exceeding here And I'd love to see all this energy and this skill shift over in this area here. Maybe you haven't thought about it. Let's talk about this area. So I think it gives us the opportunity to highlight what they're doing really well too.
Carolyn, I think that's so well said. And I overlook that all the time because I probably have to be reminded on praise a lot of times. And I have to like mentally think about it when I'm coaching or working with somebody. But I think that's great. You say, you know what, Carolyn, of all the people on the team right now, you've been making more calls and setting more appointments than anybody. I'm just super proud of you. And I just want you to know that I can see that you're putting the effort out there, and that's awesome. One of the opportunities that I saw was that you're going on a lot of appointments, but you're not bringing back a lot of buyer consults or signed listing agreements. So what I thought we'd do today is we'd role play a little bit. At the end of your presentation, ask me to sign. And then they go, bleh, and you're like, oh shit, that's the problem. Like, or, right, I need you to sign this buyer contract. What? I don't know. Like, it's a commitment to pay me no. And then you're like, oh, that's so dumb. I should have taught them that. That's my fault. I'm a bad leader. And then you can go fix that problem. So I think that's great.
Absolutely.
So if I was to go back, any of you currently looking to hire somebody talented? No, Adam's out. Adam says, I have all the talent I need around me. Oh, now he wants 4. He changed his mind. So where are you all failing in this equation?
Activity.
Aren't doing the activity. Yeah. You aren't doing the activity. I can't solve that for you. Well, I posted an ad on Indeed. That's not effing enough. Write 40 ads for the same job and post them on there. Well, I'm spending $300. Is that too much? Do you have enough? Then no, it's not too much. Like, spend $10,000. It doesn't matter. Get as many as you can and then pick the best person, right? Think about getting these things done in a timely manner so you wake up and you have a different level of people around you. There's a leadership triangle. Let's draw that real quick. Let's just draw a triangle. The triangle is going to have 4 pieces starting at the base and going up. So just draw a triangle, divide it into 4 pieces. You're going to have your base, your second piece, your third piece, and then the tip. Everybody show me. Let's see your triangle. Let's see your drawing skills. Anybody want to show me? Awesome. Thank you, Adam, for not participating. I'm watching you. I have a close eye on you, Adam. Awesome, Angela. You're a great triangle drawer, sir. Okay, great. At the bottom of the triangle, I want you to write lead yourself. If you're a shit show in life or in money or in energy or in happiness or in health or any of these things, you're going to have a really hard time, maybe not attracting because you're great at sales, but keeping talent. So the very first thing that I think about is, how am I leading myself right now? What is it that I need to know, have, be, do to start winning? Leading yourself is about getting results in whatever you've committed to do, about managing your energy in effective ways. So at the end of the day, you still have energy for your honey bunny or for your passion or for your hobby. It's about managing your money and be an example of somebody that not just made a lot of money, but is actually building wealth and saving money. So these are all aspects of leading yourself. And when you do a great job of those, Sarah, you become extremely attractive to talent. And when you become attractive to talent, you get to move up to the second, third, and fourth levels. So the second level is lead others. Lead others. And I want to put a note on that. How do you lead others? Is you lead others to do what you've done the way you've done it. If you've never called a canceled expired in your life and your entire business comes from sphere and referrals or from open houses, find people that do that and get them doing it your way. And then over time, add on those other pieces. If you've never called an internet lead yourself, don't buy a bunch of internet leads for somebody and expect them to figure it out and then blame the internet leads that they suck. right? You have to be willing to lead others in the way that you led yourself. So if you're inconsistent with your schedule, if you're dramatic, if you have money issues and all those sort of things, that's probably what you're going to have in your organization. If you always are complaining or feel like you're out of energy or stressed, you're going to have a bunch of people in your life that are stressed. In fact, you're going to attract those types of people. If you're successful at leading others, you get to move up to the third piece of the triangle. Write this down. Grow leaders. Growing leaders is when you find somebody to join your business and they do so well that they get promoted into an opportunity to lead others. It's one of the reasons so many businesses never retain talent is the leaders aren't willing to grow their businesses big enough that they have a business where people can get promoted into. When people say, I don't really want to have a super big team like you, I say, great, go back to all your assistant and go back to your one buyer's agent and said, hey, you're signing up for the mediocre life plan. That's why you joined us. You're going to send your kids to a crappy school. You're going to have mediocre vacations. You're going to buy a mediocre house. You're going to have a mediocre to poor retirement, right? Follow me. And that's what I can promise you because you are joining the small world bus. Let your business be as big as it has to be to retain the people that you care about. Think about that. Okay, if you're growing leaders, people are going to start looking around and say, you know what, I remember when Heather came into the business, right? She was brand new. And I looked at Heather and said, Heather's never going to sell anything. And then I look up a year later and she's killing me. I want to be like Heather. And then 2 years later, I look at Heather and she's running this thing. I want to be like Heather. And people start going and saying, hey, I saw what you did with Heather. Heather's phenomenal. She's the best of the best. Can you help me become like Heather? But when you don't have a Heather example, it becomes really hard. Right, Heather? The very top of the triangle, just write attract talent. Here's what I hear so many of our agents saying. I don't want to train new agents. I just want to go hire really good ones. How's that work for you? I haven't hired any of them. Why do you think that is? Because you're not attractive. They don't look around and say, gosh, that's where all the 20 to 30 unit a year people are going. You're trying to recruit 20 to 30 unit a year people, but you haven't even grown anybody into 20 to 30 unit a year people. You're not going to be able to hire them. You're never going to be able to attract talent. So if you look at this thing and you say, hey, am I leading myself? If you are, people are going to be attracted to you and you're going to start leading others. How do you know you're leading others in a good way? You're going to start actually growing leaders. How do you know that you're growing leaders? People are going to start raising their hand and saying, hey, I want to be the next Via. How do I get on that bus? Where do I find a hat like that? Wicked was all sold out. Does that make sense? Yeah. I just want to hire top producers. You haven't earned it yet. Hire anybody. It's better than you sitting at the open house or showing homes all day on Saturday. Just find somebody that's smart, has integrity, has good energy, and can communicate. Turn them into a producer, and then soon you'll be able to hire real talent. Monday or Tuesday, there's a press release coming out on Inman for a guy that Chris and I just hired. It'd be interesting when you see the press release on Monday or Tuesday and you think about this triangle of where this gentleman lands and what it took for us to be able to hire this person. I'll be curious. You guys should send me a text when you read it. What stands out to you on this triangle that I just went through?
You first have to manage yourself.
Yeah. Where am I, Adam? I'm playing like I'm Adam. Where am I not living up to my potential? And you could make a list, right? Money, health, relationships, business, skill set, whatever. I have this note on my phone that says, what new value am I going to bring my people today? Because if I don't have a new value to give to people all the time, they're going to stop following me. They're looking to me for answers and solutions and knowledge and mentorship and training. I wasn't born with everything I need. Via's heard all my jokes and all my lines and all my quotes 4,000 times. If I don't come up with new stuff on a regular basis, right, she's going to throat punch me. Right. So I have to continue to think about what new value can I bring people. Sometimes it's the same value. I just find a different shape to draw it in, or a different way to explain exactly what I've said for the last 10 years. Right. But it connects with that person a different way today than it did in the past. Okay. What are y'all thinking?
I like the growing leaders. I think I tend to think sometimes that if you let them go too far, they'll want to leave and do their own thing. And now listening, I'm like, is that such a bad thing? And if you're doing it right and they are leading and they're doing well, you will attract better talent all the time. So it's not an issue if somebody gets to the point where they're off on their own. That's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah, if your world is big enough, they wouldn't go off on their own. But if they do go off on their own, Terry, then hopefully they do it with such grace and they appreciate that. They say, you know what, I wouldn't be where I was at today if it wasn't for Terry. And that's awesome, because that also becomes an attractor for you.
Yeah.
I'm also perfectly okay with how much money people make in my world. I talked to a guy last night, and he was so worried about what he was paying this person. I said, why? And he was just so caught up on the number. I said, it doesn't matter. Tie it to you making more money and it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Like, we want to wake up and everybody should make a ton of money. However, they got to do a ton of money job, right? And maintaining job is not a ton of money. If the business doesn't grow in profit or size, they get a maintaining income. If the business is growing, be open to them growing into a piece of whatever that amount is. My assistant, Julene, started over 15 years ago. Julene made $693,000 in her primary role last year working for me. Do you think there's any assistant in the nation that I couldn't hire right now? I say, hey, I got a track for this girl. It started at $13 an hour. And this is what she's doing today. I think she just bought her 8th or 9th property. She just bought one in Phoenix, right? I could point to her and say, hey, anybody want to work in this world? Be okay that your people make a lot of money. I know that my business has to make a lot of money for my people to make that type of money. I don't want my people to be impressed at how much money I make. I want my people to be able to have the same lifestyle that I want to have. Eating Menchie's for dinner, because I'm a honey badger, Via. I don't care if I have Menchie's for dinner. I earned it. A rough frickin' day, I can have Menchie's if I want. You guys are so used to Chris around here. Like, Chris comes on and he's pleased and he's dressed nice and, you know, he doesn't swear and shit. No, this is why you guys get two different versions. Any questions, thoughts?
Ben, I just lost my assistant of 5 years, and I realized it's because I didn't let her, I didn't bring her on the same journey that I'm on. And so as my income was growing and my life was changing, I didn't change hers. And by the time I realized it, it was too late. And so what you're saying right now is really resonating, because I do want them to have a big life, and they should be able to have a big life. And I wasn't providing that. So it's another hit over the head of don't be an idiot, and don't be afraid. I think that for so long as a solo agent, I lived in scarcity and I lived feast or famine. And then eventually you wake up one day and realize your life's no longer like that. And now feeling okay about bringing others, and actually excited about bringing others not on that feast or famine journey.
Yeah, Jen, that's a good takeaway. Our people want to feel valued, that we care about them. They want to feel like they have an opportunity, something to be excited about in the future. They want to feel fairly compensated, right? They want to feel like you're a part of all areas of their life. Like, I talk to my people about their debt and their wealth building and their family and what's going on. And when you know all those things about somebody, they actually become recruitable. Sometimes some people aren't worth more money. And I simply just have to say, Jen, in your current role, you've probably maxed out on what your role is worth. And I don't want you to feel like it's not that I don't value you, it's that I need you to grow in these ways so that we can put you into the new role. Would it be okay if we spent an hour next week coming up with a plan on how to get you there so that we can hire somebody to take over your role, and we can now take this new role that's worth a lot more money that would help you accomplish your goals? Sometimes I say things like, I want you to make whatever that number is, 150 grand a year. Here's where I think it's going to come from. I'm going to pay you 75 as a salary. You're going to get 25,000 in bonuses, but I want you to get your real estate license, and we're going to get another 25,000 out of referral fees. And then profit share for Keller Williams, that's going to be 10,000. And if you do this over here, I'm going to help you teach an admin course, and you're going to make, $500 a month or $1,000 a month doing that. So if the whole thing's said and done, you're making 150,000. How does that sound? At the end of the next 2 years, if you're doing that, would we be high-fiving? Yeah. And you know what we're going to do after we high-five? We're going to talk about how to get you to 200. How does that sound? And then we're all bought in on what we're doing for the next year or two.
And I don't want to take over this whole conversation. My question, I think that I struggle with in all of this is that as a team leader and with people on my team, I'm still selling real estate. And I feel like I'm so busy selling real estate and doing those that I miss the opportunities for those conversations, or the how am I helping my people grow? Those conversations that I feel like I'm so busy doing my job of selling real estate that I forget to do my job of being a team leader. I don't know if anyone else ever struggles with being the team leader.
Can I say something that's going to offend you?
It won't offend me, but go for it.
I know that about you, Jen. When you were having a struggle with a big issue in your life, did I make time for you?
100%.
What time of night?
And so did 4 other people. Right. 100%.
What time of night did I make time for you?
I think it was 10:30 at night, and it went till about midnight. And I had never met you before.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing that I'm going to tell you. We make time for the people that matter to us. So by you not making time for it, that's another way for you to actually say with your actions that they don't matter to you. So I want you to reflect for a while if these people matter to you or not. And if they don't, that's cool. Just keep doing what you're doing. But if they do matter to you, then you need to change how your perspective is and how you're spending your time. I make time for the people that matter, but it doesn't come in like an 8-hour sit down class. Sometimes it comes in a 15-minute call on my drive home. Sometimes it comes in texting back and forth. Sometimes it comes in doing a group like this where I can talk to 5 or 10 people at a time, right? It's coming up with ways to do both by better managing our time and our schedule and showing them that they matter. Now, the reason I said that to you, Jen, is I know you care about people. I know that about you. So when I put it to you that way, I think that might be a trigger for you to change how you're behaving.
100%. Thank you.
Everybody else hear that?
Huge. Thank you.
Yeah. We make time for the people that matter. I have a lot of things going on. I have a lot of companies. I have a lot of employees. But if any one of you wanted to come up and spend time with me at my office, I promise you I'd make time for that. Right, Jody Hill? Right, Zach? Right, Bia? Right, Amy? Any one of you at any time, I would make time. I'm super busy. I make Molly buy the cheeseburger, but I would absolutely make time, and I'm never letting Molly drive again. I'm going to drive. But I would absolutely make time for people that matter. And maybe what you do, Jen, is you schedule 1 hour a week that you call your matter time, and you're going to spend that hour talking to people that matter to you. Or maybe you spend 15 minutes a day and 1 hour a week. And during that time, you spend your time with people that matter, showing them that they matter. It's just about time blocking. It's not that much time, actually. I have 52 real estate partners just in our sales teams and brokerages and other employees, and I promise you they feel like they matter to me. Yeah. Something for y'all to simmer on this week. So here's your homework. Here's your challenge. I want you to think about these 2 drawings. Where are you failing in leadership? And then I want you to make some hole in the bucket drawings for your business. I want you to teach us to your admin and say, where could we do better? Where are the holes in from contract to close, listing marketing? Go to your sales agents, talk about this diagram. Take this, Molly, yourself, and talk about why am I not finding people for my team, and figure that out and fix the first thing. And then you start working through it. And then in a month or two, it's going to work. Things are going to look a lot different. We just get frustrated because the results don't happen quick enough, and we get beat up on ourselves and we stop. Success is about slowly but consistently chipping away 15 minutes at a time to waking up at the end of the year and being better. I get people all the time with brevity. They say, hey, I'm frustrated. I'm not spending enough time in brevity. And I said, yeah, you're always going to feel that way because of how you run your life. Do me a favor, spend 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes just learning something new about brevity. Then what? If you have time, spend 15 minutes working in it. He said, is that enough? I said, no, it's not enough right now, but at the end of the year, it will be. You're going to wake up in January and you're going to be rocking, right? Let's come up with a plan on January 1, Sarah. We're an entirely different person running an entirely different business. And 2022 is going to freaking kill it. Like we're going to, because we set the foundation now, instead of always being frustrated that we don't get everything in place. Okay, Via, I'll let you do a couple of other questions or ahas. I have to go to a doctor's appointment and get a rash or something checked out. Anyway, I got to go for a while, but I appreciate you all, and I will see you all. Via, feel free to give me my cell phone. You guys can text me or call.
Yeah, I'll let us sign off, everybody. Thanks, Ben. And Ben's cell phone is, does someone want to throw it in chat? Because it's programmed in, so I don't know. It's 425-766 something. Let's see, 425-766. Here we go, 8695. There you go. That's it. All right, we'll see you next month. And I can't remember if it's me, it won't be me. If it's my turn next month, I always bring on a guest. So it'll either be a guest or Chris next month. Thanks, everybody. And if you need me for any reason, here's mine. There you go. Happy to talk Broadway musicals with you. Have a great week. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.